36 combat clashes took place between the Ukrainian Defence Forces and the Russian occupiers on August 18. Source: General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Facebook. Information as of 6 o'clock on August 19, 2023, quote, "Last night, the Russian Federation launched another airstrike on Ukraine using Iranian-made Shahed-136/131 attack drones. Information on the effects of this terrorist attack is currently being established. Over the past day, the enemy launched 3 missile attacks and 41 airstrikes, and fired 74 times from multiple launch rocket systems at the positions of our troops and settlements. Unfortunately, Russian terrorist attacks have resulted in civilian casualties. Residential buildings and other civilian infrastructure facilities have been damaged. The possibility of missile and air strikes across Ukraine remains high. 36 combat clashes took place over the past day. Details: the situation on the Volyn and Polishcha fronts remained unchanged. On the Syvershchina and Slobozhenskaya fronts, the Russians carried out airstrikes near Chervona Zoria and Veterinar in Kharkiv Oblast. They fired using mortars and artillery on more than 25 settlements, including Karpovichi and Hrymiak in Chernihiv Oblast, Seredina Buda, Roskovichy and Vodolay in Sumy Oblast, and Stryleka, Vovchansk, Krasny Yar and Zemlyanki in Kharkiv Oblast. On the Kupiansk front, the Russians conducted unsuccessful offensives in the area of Sinkivka, Kharkiv Oblast. They carried out airstrikes in the areas of Kurilivka, Kislivka, and Plushkivka in Kharkiv Oblast. The settlements that were subjected to artillery and mortar attacks were Kamianka, Krasna Pershi Masyutivka, Kislivka, and Berestov in Kharkiv Oblast. On the Lyman front, the Russians carried out airstrikes near Bilohorivka in Luhansk Oblast and Spern in Donetsk Oblast. About 15 settlements came under Russian artillery fire, including Nevsk, Kremina, and Bilohorivka in Luhansk Oblast, and Torsky, Sviatopokrovsk, Spern, and Rozdalivka in Donetsk Oblast. On the Bakhmut front, the Russians conducted unsuccessful offensives south of Bila Ora and Toretsk in Donetsk Oblast. They carried out airstrikes near Klishchivka and Andrivka in Donetsk Oblast. More than 15 settlements came under Russian artillery shelling, including Orikovo-Vasilivka, Bakhmut, Bila Ora, Dylyivka, Pleshchivka, and New York in Donetsk Oblast. On the Avdiivka front, the Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive actions in the area of Novokalinov and Avdiivka in Donetsk Oblast. More than 15 settlements came under Russian artillery fire, including Novokalinov, Tonink, Severn, Nevels, Nedolov, and Karlivka in Donetsk Oblast. On the Marinka front, Ukrainian Defence Forces continue to hold back the Russian offensive in the areas of Marinka and Krasnohorivka in Donetsk Oblast. The invaders conducted an airstrike in the area of Krasnohorivka in Donetsk Oblast. More than 10 settlements were shelled, including Hoztray, Marinka, Novomykhailivka, Koshchetinivka, and Antonivka in Donetsk Oblast. On the Shakhtarsk front, the Russians carried out an airstrike near Staromaersk in Donetsk Oblast. More than 10 settlements came under artillery fire, including Volodar, Prikostivka, Velika Novosilka, Blahodad, Urazhane, and Rivnapil in Donetsk Oblast. On the Zaporizhia front, the occupiers launched airstrikes near Mala Tokmachka and Robotyne in Zaporizhia Oblast. More than 20 settlements came under Russian artillery fire, including Levad, Zatishia, Novoandrivka, Stepov, Piedikaki, and Plavy in Zaporizhia Oblast. On the Kherson front, more than 15 settlements came under Russian artillery fire, including Mykolivka, Antonivka, Kherson, and Dniprovsk in Kherson Oblast, and Ochakov in Mykolaiv Oblast. At the same time, the Ukrainian Defence Forces are continuing to conduct offensive operations on the Melitopol and Berdyansk fronts. consolidating their positions and conducting counter-battery operations. Over the past day, Ukrainian Defence Forces aircraft carried out 10 strikes on areas where the Russian military personnel, weapons, and equipment were concentrated, and 1 strike on their anti-aircraft missile systems. Over the past day, rocket forces and artillery units struck 2 clusters of Russian military personnel, weapons, and equipment for artillery systems at their firing positions, 2 command posts, and 2 electronic warfare stations. Russia hits Ukraine city center after Putin meets generals. A Russian missile strike on Ukraine's northern city of Chernihiv killed 7 people and left more than 100 wounded on Saturday, authorities said, hours after President Vladimir Putin met Moscow's top army commanders. Chernihiv, 150 kilometers, 90 miles, north of Kiev towards Belarus, has been largely spared from major attacks since the first months of Russia's invasion, as fierce fighting rages in the east and south. The Russian army marched through the city when it invaded Ukraine through Belarus in February 2022, before being repelled by Kiev's forces. The strike came after Putin held talks with top Russian generals in a rare trip to operational hub Rostov-on-Don, and as his Ukrainian nemesis, Volodymyr Zelensky, visited Sweden for talks with Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson. As of 3:25 p.m., 117 people were injured in the terrorist attack on the center of Chernihiv. 7 of them died. Oleksandr Lomako, Chernihiv's acting mayor, said on Telegram. Vyacheslav Chas, head of the Chernihiv region's military administration, said on Telegram that a child was among the dead. Zelensky said the attack hit the center of the city, in a square that houses a Polytechnic University, a theater. An ordinary Saturday, which Russia turned into a day of pain and loss. He said after his arrival in Sweden, he posted a video from the scene showing debris around a large Soviet-era building, with parked cars partially destroyed, smashed roofs, and windows blown out. AFP reporters saw fire trucks outside the Taras Shevchenko Drama Theater and Music Academy, which suffered some damage. Some nearby buildings also sustained minor damage. 0-10 Russian invaders between February 24, 2022 and August 19, 2023, including 500 in the past day alone. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said this in a post on Facebook, Ukrinform reports.